Good afternoon on what is a cool, grey and overcast day. It is Monday the 27th of February and I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a parcel to a box, which comes in this rather fancy purple package. So this comes open quite handily for a change. I'll pull out the contents. And what I've got here is Monster Care Squad Legends of Ald-Amura. And this is, let's see what it's published by. So find, it just doesn't say anything. Okay, so we just find out in a minute, because there's nothing on the back, but nice vibrant cover there. And then again we've got the table of contents. That's quite extensive, and again this is really nicely detailed artwork there of a disaster, but again it's got such sort of like energy and feel to it. And it's just so. Yep, quite an extensive table of contents list. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages long. Contents pages. Well, 4 at least. And then we have just. Then we have immediate distribution of networks. This is but here we get into sort of the start of the book and what it's all about. Basically, a bit of flavour, content. You know, for immediate distribution on all networks, Tenoris Mal burns. The elder worm Armat, the wings that shake the heavens, has wreaked havoc upon the great city, leaving thousands of refugees adrift in its ruins. Crying out in the pain and overwhelmed with fever, Armat's wrath was not her own, but the work of a deadly poison. Our monster specialists have named the false gold. Its origins is still unknown, but more monsters are falling prey to it by the hour. So, in the world of Ald-Amura, monsters and humans live in harmony with one another. Humans care for monsters, providing food and shelter for them, while monsters lend their power, magic, and might to humanity. All was well for 1,000 years, the world prospers, and war was a thing of the past. Then tragedy struck. So, as you can see, as was announced earlier, so that's what the game is about. It's trying to restore harmony after that has been broken, unbalanced by a disaster. So here you're giving the flavour and feel of what the game is about. So its layout is sort of like, it's kept quite clean, tidy, not too busy. Let me get into starting a game, and here we have the kind of pointers as to where to start, what the world is like, you know, to really get to the nature of what it is you're playing. So again, repetition of that rather fantastic artwork on the cover. And this is a section on making a specialist, making a character. And as you can see, this is kind of anime-esque style in presentation and artwork. You can totally see this artwork in the background and let's have a look. And the game is played through moves, so we literally got like a sample move of what you can do there, and with examples as well. So it's you know, from the start they're saying this is how you play, this is what you're doing, here's how it works, and you know, a bit of a discussion of what gifts from the monsters are, because that's how humans are kind of being powerful in this setting. Essential abilities. Then we have a full list of moves there, such as pack rat, orphaned, opened hidden eye. Sorry, what do you have in your mouth? Presto, and so on. And these continue over the course of several different pages. and then we have the GNPC, or the NPC as it's unknown in other role-playing games, how to create those. And then we've got more of this fantastic artwork before we flip over the page to phases of play, and what happens during phases and between phases, using the die steps there, I'm presuming. Again, I mean, it's be aware, of course, this is a first an unboxing. It's my first reaction to the game, so we have more moves, those based upon diagnosis and synthesis. So essentially synthesis is sort of like bringing together ingredients that the monster care squad specialists don't always carry around with them. They are scavenging, they are foraging, and putting together the devices to poultices, cures, and tonics that they need. And then you've essentially got 3 different phases. So essentially you're encountering a monster. In the diagnosis phase, you determine what's wrong. In the synthesis phase, you create a cure or a tonic or something, and then in symbiosis, you work together in order to square off against the monsters and attempt to heal their wounds. And then we have the guide. And the guide is sort of like a game master player character, or GNPC, and he has his own moves there. So you've got a list of all the guide moves. A couple of pages of that before we begin to look at the different monsters and their breakdowns. And the first thing that's actually covered is their wounds. It's sort of like, here are the things that they can suffer. And there are also options in here for solo mode as well. So you can play it, as a solo game, almost like a journaling game, or you can play it, as a group. Unless we have the Welcome to Ald-Amura. I'm looking at the land, its flora and fauna, technology, language, naming conventions, that sort of thing. And again, we can see it's going for this kind of cute look and feel, anime-esque to it, sort of like that's a very kind of the sort of dog you would find in a anime-esque scenario or situation. As is that, and then discussion of the people of Ald-Amura and the monsters, and the gifts they can give. They can grant when they're in harmony, or when there is harmony between monsters and men. And then of course you've got the nature of the poison that's infected them. So there is a discussion of the false gold, and the question I think that's it, who caused the false gold. There's quite a lengthy discussion of that. Before we get on to bestiary. So we have various creatures in here, some of them illustrated, some not. And that's the 3rd time he's been around. So yeah, quite an extensive bestiary in here. That runs for several pages. Many of these classic Japanese and Chinese creatures. Disappointing perhaps that not all of them are illustrated, but there we go. So we just got plain entries like that. Some have illustrations like that. And we've got other things like that, which is essentially a spider with a mountain of eyes on its back, which is quite creepy. So you've got this quite extensive monster list. Essentially, so far, bestiary is so just it's quite long. So is that before we get on to locations. And again, it's the same kind of two-page spread for each location, just essentially the same again as with the monsters. Don't see just a fantastic artwork. It's a lovely looking book. So I'm going to flip forward a bit because you're not going to see there's anything of interest in here. It's not. It's you know, it's pretty much all like this, and that's no bad thing. It is a very nice looking book. And then we have events. These are things that, of course, the game master can put in front of her players. So you have travel events, weather events, and then we have the 8 floating cities. Descriptions of those. In here, you've essentially got some story ideas connected to them, and characters that the player characters might run into whilst in the first city, and the second city, and so on. And then we have an extended example of play. Before at the end bits, we have an epitaph for the lost monster hunters, and team biographies. Again, almost done in game sort of, and almost computer game-esque. We have a list of achievements. For example, killed them all. You saved the communities in every corner of Ald-Amura, and all you got was this badge. And then we have a sign off there. And one of the things that's interesting is sort of like, there's almost kind of difficult to say who exactly publishes this. It seems to be hidden. I'm going to try and find it before going any further. Doesn't actually say, which is a little odd, but there we go. That is Monster Care Squad, Legends of Ald-Amura. Hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. It's a very bright, colourful book. It does look interesting. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below, and of course if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package, usually not purple, which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then do please hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.